Hey, what's up, guys? Here we go, back, finally able to upload a deadlift video. So I know it's been a week or two. I said I was going to upload one, but I just have not had time to upload the footage. I actually took this footage about a week or so ago, but I have not had time. I've been on vacation, so I haven't had time to upload it. But here we go, finally have it up. Here, I included my brother in the video. He was working out with me, doing deadlifts and a variation of squats also, so I included him in the video. Here's his first set of 5 reps with 315 pounds. It's pretty easy for him, but what we're trying to do is work on our form, trying to keep our spine straight, lumbar spine straight, not have any rounding, because I've had previous injuries, he's had previous injuries, so we're trying to just keep it straight and be free of injuries. So here's my first set of 385 pounds. My program told me to do 385 pounds for 3 sets of 4 to 8 reps. So I ended up getting 3 sets of 6, which is perfectly fine. I wanted to do a little better, but as you can see, it moved kind of slowly today, so I didn't want to push it. I didn't want to compromise my form at all, so I tried to keep my back straight the whole time while I was doing it. Here's my brother again with 335 pounds, so he upped it about 20 pounds from the last set, and he just sticks with this for the rest of his sets. I tried to help him keep his back a little straighter, but we're working on it, both of us, because we've been yankers in the past, just yanking the bar, not worrying about tightness or anything. So we're trying to work on our tightness. And so yeah, a couple tips I would give is sit back when you're deadlifting a little bit, not like getting low like a squat, but as you can see, my hips are not, they're relatively high, but they're not too high, not too low, right in the middle. I like to load my hamstrings, so feel the pressure on your hamstrings when you're about to pull. I used to just use my back in a deadlift. I put it on back day and I just pulled and I felt it in my back. But the way I do it now, I feel it really in my hamstrings, glutes, traps, everything. And I think that's the way it's supposed to be done. So I'm really glad I lowered the weight than I normally do. I think the most I've ever done was 405 for 7 reps, but it was bad form. So I'm glad I'm working my way back up. That's just what you got to do sometimes. But this set, I did beltless. I actually forgot my belt on that set. So it was a little slower. And here's my brother's last set of deadlifts, 335 pounds. So he's using his belt, and it goes up pretty quickly. But like I said, we're trying to work on tightness. So we'll continue to work on that. And another tip I would say for the deadlift is keeping the basically bar placement. So you don't want to have your shins touching the bar right when you start, or you won't have any room to pull back and stay tight. And you don't want it too far away from the bar either. So you basically don't want like your toes right below the bar. I usually have my midfoot over the bar or under the bar, and that gives me enough room to sit back, get my shins forward, and pull. And that's a perfect amount of room to pull straight up, because the farther the bar is away from your foot, the more strain it is on your lower back. And it's basically, you want the bar to go up in a straight line, so the more of a curve it goes up in, the harder it's going to be. So you're just making the pull harder on yourself. So it took me a while to perfect this. I've been deadlifting for about 3 years or so. My max deadlift is 475. I actually just pulled that a couple days ago after recording this footage. And then we started I did front squats, and my brother did pause squats. So it's his first time actually doing pause squats, and I thought he did pretty well. He decided to do them beltless too. Works more core. It's a lot better just to have a variation where you don't use a belt. So here's him with 185. He did 3 sets of 6, I believe. It was definitely easy. He could have done more, but it was the first time, so I wanted him to get used to it. I just had him do 3 sets of 6, went up fast. I think he could have paused for a little bit longer. It was like 1 or 2 seconds. It could have been a little longer, but it looked good. His form was spot on. And I was doing 3 sets of 6 to 8, I believe, with 205 pounds. I use a belt usually when I do front squats, just because it's hard to stabilize the weight when it's right in front of me. So I use a belt just to make sure. I don't want anything happening to it, you know, moving around too much. So the reason I do front squats is for balance, as well as to work on my quads more, because my quads have been a weakness. A lot of people have hamstring weaknesses that I've encountered, at least, because a lot of people squat with their quads, but I actually squat with my hamstrings mostly, so I try to work on some quads to build up my back squat. So this is a good exercise to use. I like it a lot, especially if you have quad weaknesses and you just want to improve your balance, to be honest. I worked my way up. I used to only be able to do 135 with this just a couple months ago, but I worked my way up, so I'm happy with where it's at. So here is one of the last exercises I did, was the leg press. My brother was doing some hamstring curls in the other end, but I just put on 5 plates. I did about, I think, 12 to 15 reps. It varied, but as you can see, my stance is pretty close. So basically, same thing as front squats. I'm trying to work on my quads. So when your stance is close like this, it usually works on the outer sweep of your quad, your outer quad. So I like to do that a lot because, like I said, I've had quad weaknesses. So close stance is great for me. Some people, like one of my other brothers, I have him do wide stance just so he can work on his hamstring and glutes more because he has strong quads. So basically every exercise you want to analyze why you're doing it and what you're trying to work on and improve with it. So just don't look at someone and just do it because they're doing it and they're bigger than you or they're stronger than you and do it. Analyze why you're doing it. Do you have a weakness with that body part, muscle group? What do you want to improve with it? So it's always good to analyze. Here's the last thing I did. It was quad extensions. So I just did a couple sets of this. I was only able to record 1 set, but I did like 12 or 15 reps also. I like to do high reps on these ones just so I feel the burn. I'm not going for strength on any of these. I'm just working on hypertrophy. So thanks, guys.